First of all, let me say this. Congratulations to Missouri. I know they were shorthanded, and, good win by them. Played well enough to win. Did a nice job. It's a bottom line business, and we didn't get the W tonight. We know we're judged on wins and losses, but I want to say one thing. I'm proud of that team out there tonight. I'm proud of those players. I'm proud of those coaches. There was no quit. We were shorthanded as well, but again, like I said, in the middle of the week, there are no excuses, and those guys continue to fight. There was just adversity after adversity tonight. Opportunities to fold in this ball game, but there wasn't any quit in this team. Gave our team an opportunity to win the game in the fourth quarter. I can't say enough about our defense. The way they continued to battle throughout the whole game. I don't have the field position in front of me, but it seems like all game was a field position battle, and we could never get it flipped, and they were on the plus side the entire game. But our defense bowed their neck. They fought, did an extremely nice job against a good group. We were shorthanded, but guys fought. They played hard. Told them that, but also told them it's a bottom line business. We didn't win. But we have another opportunity next week against a very good football team. Last opportunity for our seniors to play in Williams-Brice. And we're going to go back to work and put ourselves in position to hopefully have a chance to win next week in the fourth quarter. I thought, as the game continued to go on, there started to be some belief that, hey, we can't do this. We got to get to the point that there's belief when you walk on the field. That you're going to find a way to get through adversity. But credit to the coaches, credit to the leadership of getting the guys to fight. They laid it on the line tonight. So I'll open it up for questions.
First question goes to Ben Briner.
Hey, Coach, wanted to ask, during halftime, what is kind of the decision-making process to send Luke out there, and how do you kind of grade his first full half, kind of taking that quarterback role?
Well, obviously everybody saw Shy go down on the first drive, and what our plan offensively to do in the passing game kind of went a little bit kaput. We weren't able to protect. They were able to get pressure, which they're a five-man pressure team. They load the box, and they got pressure on Colin. They were doing a great job slanting and moving up front. Causing us to run sideways, a lot like Texas A&M in the run game. And we had a plan coming in that Luke Doty was going to play more in this game because we felt like he gave us an extra hat in the run game. We felt in all the man coverage it would open up some seams for him to be able to tuck the ball and run. At halftime we kind of went through things, talked about what we were going to do the second half, and as I was walking out, I just made a decision. I said, we got to go with Luke. I felt like he gave us the best chance to win. I'm going to say this about Luke Doty. The moment's not too big for him. That was obvious in this game. He was calm. He was cool. He was collective. Now, it was a lot of backyard ball out there. It was a lot of running around like a chicken with our head cut off. But it looked like a calm and collective guy doing it out there. It might not look like chaos to some guys, but it was a little bit of a chaos. I think it didn't look like chaos because he's so cool back there, and I was proud of him. I think the team was proud of him the way they battled. And when I made the decision at halftime coming out, I basically told everybody on defense we were going number 4. I told the offensive line we were going number 4. I need to step up and basically hold the rope a little tighter, and they did that and put ourselves in position to have a chance to win. Unfortunately, we came up short.
David.
Hey, Mike, how is Shy, and is Luke going to get the start next week?
Shy was ruled out. Trainer told me that after, probably 5 minutes after he went down. I think it's too early to tell, what his prognosis is. I saw him in the locker room. He seemed in good spirits. He seemed, he seemed cognitive of what's going on. Standing right next to me when I addressed the team. So I think it's going to be in the trainer's hand. They got to recheck and make a decision. We'll go to the drawing board. We got to look at Georgia on defense and what gives us the best, chance to win the ball game. But I think Luke definitely helped his cause going into next week.
Colin Taylor.
Yeah, Mike, you talked a little bit about energy throughout the week. When you put Luke in, just how do you feel like the team responded to that? And do you feel like they played with pretty good energy tonight?
I thought they played with great energy. I thought, we were in the ball game the whole time. Energy. When things haven't gone well for us, yeah, let's be honest, we haven't reacted well. We've went the other way, and things didn't go well. We got down 17-0, but nobody blinked. We talked about, some guys are going to falter tonight. If somebody falters, you hold that rope a little bit tighter until he gets back up. And I thought, we were struggling offensively. The defense kept us in the game in the first half, and then continued to keep us in the game in the second half, and give ourselves a chance, to win the ball game. We knew it was going to be hard to run the ball on these guys. We knew we'd have to make some plays in the passing game. We just didn't make enough, and Luke gave us a chance there with his ability to run to get it to a one-score game.
Josh Kendall.
Me? Oh, sorry, Mike. Does the fact that Connor and Luke play a similar style, did that allow Connor to help him any more than he might have another guy this week? Were they able to communicate in a way because they have a similar game?
That's a good question. Connor's kind of he's a mentor to all the guys, but he's been a mentor, to Luke since day one. I think they share a little bit of bond because they're the only two in that whole room that can run and move around a little bit. There's two former quarterbacks, myself and Connor, and the other guys in that room, and those two are the only ones that can actually make a play with their legs. So they've had a little bit of bond, and I think you might be onto something to that. But Luke had his plays and his game plan, that we were going to insert him, and then we just made a decision there that he was going to run the whole show. And obviously we couldn't do everything that we had coming in the game, but Connor's been good for that whole group. I'm kind of joking a little bit when I say that. Connor's been good for the whole group.
Mike Yuba.
Mike, you mentioned coming into this week, I think you said earlier in the week that, you planned on using two quarterbacks at some point. Was there any point of potentially using Holinsky, or did you always feel like you were going to go with Luke as that second quarterback tonight?
Now, based off of practice, there was no question in our minds as coaches that those two were ready to play and locked in with the game plan, and gave us the best chance to win on being able to execute and understand and being locked in.
Eric Boynton.
Yeah, Mike, a little bit of a tough start again for your defense, but how much did you admire the way they played in the second half? I think they kept Missouri under 100 yards total and shut them out, really kept you guys in the ballgame.
I can't say enough about our defense. I really can't say enough about our defense in the first half. Obviously, we gave up a couple scores, but to get the turnover in the red zone, to continue to battle when they were short field after short field, I thought they were playing extremely well. Offensively, we couldn't get anything going, to really give them a blow. I don't have the first half, stats here, but I think, the time of possession and the amount of plays they were on defense put them in a bind, and to be able to hold those guys, twice in the red zone, once to a field goal and once, getting an interception and a turnover, I thought was huge. And coming in the second half and, make a little bit of some adjustments. A couple runs hit us. We knew we were going to have great eye discipline. They run a lot of trick stuff. I wouldn't say it's trick stuff, but they run a lot of stuff with motions where you got to communicate, and the guys did a great job of communicating. We overcome, some bad breaks, which happened. Some pass interference calls, some things that happened. The guys didn't get down. They continued to play. I'm really, really proud of those guys. And here's a unit that – everybody had written off as dead, and they're not dead. They showed some pride, in wearing that uniform tonight and playing for each other, and I was proud of that.
Hilmer Granahan.
Hey, Coach. I was wondering on the first play you called. I'm assuming it was a flea flicker. Was that look something you wanted to try to just kind of get some life to the guys, get them bouncing around a little bit, maybe?
That wasn't a flea flicker. That was a sprint out where we had a pick play or a block where we're going to throw it to shy behind the line of scrimmage, or a shovel pass if the end ran upfield, and they slanted to the field and dropped off the end. and then Colin tried to pitch the shovel underneath, and it bounced back to him. It wasn't a flea flicker. It was something to try to get the ball in Shy's hands, and if that didn't work, we were going to shovel it under to Kevin.
It looked on the TV, and they didn't show a replay that that's what it was. So it was kind of tough to see. As far as that, I guess, kind of idea is, how did you try to make a concerted effort to try to build up morale with some creative ways? I mean, with Shaquandre being a kick returner, maybe that was another.
Yeah, Shaquandre has steadily become one of our better special teams players. He was a starter on all 4 units. He's not on the field offensively. He actually played some snaps tonight defensively, and we felt like he gave us the best chance to be able to catch it if the guy kicked it in play, which happened one time. We felt like he might kick it out of the end zone to get an explosive play. That's something we hadn't had all year in special teams is some momentum, something we talked about. We didn't have that opportunity tonight to create any momentum, but we thought he might be able to create some momentum. As far as morale, that's really what I focused on all week. It's been a tough week for these guys. It's been a really, really tough week. It's been a tough situation. It's a tough situation for everybody across the country with what's going on. And then we're playing football, and there's a lot of questions in these young kids' mind of what we're doing and why we're doing it. And they lose the guy they come to play for. But we kind of refocused and said, hey, in adversity and in life, things are going to happen that you're not going to like, or it's not going to be favorable to you. But as a man, how are you going to respond? How are you going to respond, when you've got a wife and a kid, your 2 kids, and they're looking at you, to provide for them. That's your family. Same thing here is your family. How are you going to respond as a man? And I'm really proud of the guys, the way they responded. They bonded together, and they played for each other. Now, would I like to have had the result? We'd have felt a lot better in the locker room, but there was a lot of hurt in that locker room tonight because I thought they played their asses off.
Phil Kornblut. Phil Kornblut.
Yeah, I'm coming. Sorry. Hey, Mike. On that last possession, when you guys came off the goal line, you're moving the football. What were you thinking? How were you feeling about how that last drive was setting up? And what did you see from the sideline that happened on the pick?
Yeah, they're a man football team, and they went to a drop 8, cover 2 zone, dropping everybody underneath. And it's one of those things where, it's 50 seconds in a ball game. It's not a lot of time, but, sometimes you feel like you gotta force things, and you got to continue to check the ball down in situations like that. You still have one timeout. College football is an eternity. We've been able to get the first down and clock stops. Basically tried to call a dig play, and they got up under, dropped all 3 linebackers, and he needed to check it down to one of the underneath guys. And that happens. He'll learn from that. It was a tough learning experience, but, I think he didn't see the guy and thought he had the dig window.
Dick Cox.
You lose Shy on the first series. How do you feel like the rest of the receivers had to step up and play? Do you feel like that they did a good job, or what do you think about the receivers?
I thought they did. I thought they did an outstanding job tonight. I think for the first time you saw us make some contested catches with guys on us. More than we've done this entire year. Luke put some balls in position to make some plays with contested catches, and he bought some time for us back there. I thought Josh Van, probably doesn't show up in the stat sheet. He's got 2 catches for 22 yards. Did a nice job. Nick Muse has been a steady guy for us all year. Jalen Brooks got a couple pass interference calls. But I thought they did a nice job. Shy's down, Xavier Leggett's down, DeCarrion Joyner's questionable coming into the game. There's a lot of issues there, but those guys, we didn't make any excuses for them or didn't allow them to make any excuses. Trey Atkins came in and made some plays, so it was good to see those guys, make some plays. We're just not, we're not real potent on offense right now. We're not. And if somebody loads the box, it's going to create issues for us. And we felt like the best chance for us was, to get Doty in there and to make some plays with his legs, which he did. He ended up leading rusher with 59 yards.
We'll take two more, John Del Bianco, then John Whittle.
Hey, Mike, at the end of the game, after Luke threw that interception, I saw you put your arm around him. I was wondering if you were just talking about that specific play, or were you talking about, his game overall? What was your message in that little moment?
I talked about the play, the coverage that they were in, and where we needed to go with the ball, and how we still had a timeout, it's 50 seconds left, the things that I just said. But then I also talked about I was proud of him. That's a tough situation for any young man to go into. Off the bench, down 17-0, but he responded. He didn't blink. He played with confidence, and like I said earlier, he looked like he belonged. So just let him know I was proud of him. I've always been proud of Luke. He's a positive guy. As a team guy, when you talk about playing for Carolina and wanting to be here, and it's all about the team and not himself. That's Luke Doty.
Last question goes to John Whittle.
The secondary in particular had 3 guys opt out this week. I'm wondering what their demeanor just as a group was like in practices over the course of the week. And then how did you feel like they played tonight, holding Missouri about 50 yards below their average and second lowest as a group this season?
Well, when we came back Tuesday and had our practice, and after the opt-outs, we said this is who's here. This is who's decided that's going to be part of this team. And as coaches, we didn't allow anybody to say we don't have this guy, we don't have this guy. We got what we got, and we're going to go fight. And we're going to get a plan. It challenged those guys, to study, to lock in, to understand what we're trying to do, to play fast. And I think, tonight's only going to give those guys confidence, obviously for the next 2 games. But moving forward, it's one thing, to believe, in yourself, but it's another thing when, you go out there and you do it and you get game-like experience and game day reps. It creates confidence, and I think those guys will play confident moving forward. Excuse me. Cam, I thought was in good position on the one. They scored a touchdown. He just didn't get his head back. And then, just said, hey, Cam, you're right there, man. Make the play. Be confident in yourself and go make the play. And it's a big challenge for us tonight, too, is that we were going to encourage all night. We were not going to get down. We knew bad stuff were going to happen in the back end, on offense, on special teams, but continue to encourage each other. And I thought those guys did that tonight, which was good to see.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
All right.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
guys.